are listening to Happy Hour Hustle, a bi-weekly podcast featuring the musings and witty remarks of the one and only Kim Bodie. We can promise at least 2 terrible jokes out of Kim and at least 10 minutes of incredible thought leadership from some amazing and influential guests. So grab a glass of iced red wine and join us for a wild ride. Here's Kim.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Happy Hour Hustle. We're here with one of our hustlers, Sandra Gaddy of the Women's Resource Center. Hello, Sandra.
Hello. Glad to be here.
We're happy to have you. So obviously, we start out every podcast, obviously. I mean, we are called the Happy Hour Hustle. So we have to ask you what your drink of choice is.
So it's one I made up myself.
Oh, please tell me. Is this like a secret recipe?
Not really.
So we're going to ask you to tell us anyway.
Okay.
So,
it's called a cold toddy.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it has Elijah Craig bourbon.
It has to be a certain bourbon. Gotcha.
Yeah, I just like Elijah Craig.
Yeah.
And I use organic lemonade from Costco.
Costco is organic lemonade?
Yes.
Do they have everything?
They have everything. Mm-hmm. I don't drink this lemonade by itself, but I will drink it as a cold toddy.
With alcohol,
and
obviously.
a drizzle of raw honey, shaken in a, what do you call it?
Well, shaker.
A shaker.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
And then just pour it. It's shaken over ice, of course, and then just pour it out, and it's just pure.
I'm going to try that.
It is.
That sounds delicious.
And I've taken it to a couple places,
and everyone's
a couple bartenders have taken my recipe.
Okay, so now we know it's good. I mean, if a bartender wants it.
Yes.
Okay, so Women's Resource Center. Before we jump into our icebreaker, we always do an icebreaker segment. This one's going to be dinner parties and weird food things.
Okay.
How long have you been at Women's Resource Center? And then maybe give a quick overview of your career. No problem.
Okay.
Just a few years.
Well, I've been at Women's Resource Center. It was 2 years in this past March. So, boy, has that gone pretty fast. But the last 12 years, I've been in nonprofit work. Prior to that, I was in corporate banking. And so I've done everything from managed banking centers to business banking, corporate banking, business commercial analyst. So everything but mortgages, I think.
Right. Well,
and private banking and trust services.
Why nonprofit?
It was actually one of my clients.
Really?
When I left the bank, I stayed at home with my kids for about a year and a half, and as I was looking to get back into work, I thought that I really wanted to pursue marketing. That's what I went to school for, marketing and advertising. And as I was making those choices, they said, well, there's a position at Mel Trotter. We really think you should consider it. And true to form, how women do, when I was offered the position, I said, no, I'm not ready for that yet. And I took another position, and a year later, I was the Chief Development Officer. It was a position I turned down a year earlier.
Right? Did you just not think you were prepared? I'm totally going off script here, but did you just not think you were prepared for it, or?
Well, I didn't think even though I left the bank as a vice president, I didn't think that going into a completely different industry, I was equipped to do it. Mm-hmm. And
which you 100% were.
He saw that in me, but all the changes that the department had made, it was a lot of the things that I brought in from my corporate side. And so it was a woman who said to me a year later when they did a national search, she says, you're the person for the job. Okay, you just got to take this. And
a national search. And she was like, okay, so you didn't want this a year ago, but we need you to take it.
Yeah, we need you to take
that's
it.
That's awesome.
So.
That's like, us women, we always underestimate ourselves. And it usually comes down to somebody else telling us, no, you are worthy.
Yep.
You are worthy.
Yep.
So, okay, so our icebreaker. So we're going to talk about, this is kind of awkward dinner party conversations, but I just think they're interesting anyway. So, okay, so we're going to talk about food. I'll ask you a series of questions, and you tell me what you think.
Okay.
What do you think about pineapple on pizza?
I don't eat pork, so the combination doesn't. You see my face.
Yeah, I see your face. No, pineapple's gross to me too. So it should never be on pizza. Okay, can grilled cheese be dipped in ketchup instead of tomato soup?
Oh, no.
Right? I never dip it in tomato soup. Have you ever dipped it in tomato soup?
I've dipped it in tomato basil.
Oh, well, then that's fine. The basil is clearly the key there.
It's the key.
Ice cubes in cereal, yes or no?
Heck no.
I don't know who these people are. They're just weird. Yeah.
What?
So I know. Okay. What about drinking leftover pickle juice from the jar?
So,
Yes. Okay. Yes.
pickle juice helps with Charlie horses, and yes.
Serious?
So, I keep leftover pickle juice. Like if I worked out and I didn't have enough water and I get a Charlie horse in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
I have to run down.
And it really does it?
It
Like immediately?
within a minute or two.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
you've-
First the drink, now this. I mean, we could just end the podcast
Yeah,
now.
just keep that
Yeah.
pickle juice. It's the bomb.
This is hilarious because last night I watched my husband do it and I was like, what are you doing? He's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've just never tried it. I wanted to see what it tasted like. And I go, and what did it taste like? He goes, pickle juice. And I was
Pickle
like,
juice.
brilliant. You're brilliant.
It's the salt, it's the sodium in there. My
Yeah.
kids who are athletes do
Yeah.
kept pickle juice.
Interesting. Okay. And then lastly, what do you think about dipping French fries in your Wendy's Frosty? And no, this is not an endorsement or an ad.
Oh, my dad taught me that.
Right? So
Yes.
many people do it. I do not do it, but so many people do it.
Yes,
Okay,
it's-
so that's not weird.
yes.
Pickle juice, drinking pickle juice is cool, and also the Frosty.
Yeah.
With
it has
French
to be a
fries.
purpose for drinking a pickle juice, though.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously,
not
there
a
has to be a
beverage.
reason. Yeah, you're not just doing that. You're not pouring it over ice. Okay, so now we're going to get into, the hard-hitting questions. Just kidding. We are going to talk a little bit, our topic, obviously we want to highlight Women's Resource Center as it's an amazing organization in town. But we also want to talk a little bit about getting involved on boards because I've heard you speak, about that and you really encourage people to do it. And I think one of the things that when I heard you talk before, one of the things that really resonated with me was the time that's involved. I think so many people are like, oh, this will look nice on my resume, but then they're not willing to give the time that the organization needs.
Yep.
So first, tell us a little bit about Women's Resource Center.
Wow. Well, Women's Resource Center started in 1973. The work actually began in 1971 when 4 women, bomb women here in our community, began to just do a research to find out if there was a need for a women's organization, gender-focused organization. And they did a brief study at Aquinas College, and they thought maybe 100 women would come from the community. They had over 500 women come from the Midwest, women coming from Chicago,
They were like, well, that
Detroit.
answered the question.
Yeah, and it was so many women, they had to shut the doors because they couldn't fit any more people in Aquinas at that time in 1971. And so, yes, so began Women's Resource Center's work. We are a gender-focused organization for workforce development unapologetically.
Good.
And we serve over 600 women a year with training, development, interview skills, resume building. We have a monthly divorce workshop.
Okay.
We have attorneys come in and provide that service. This fall, we're going to relaunch our sexual harassment program. We have organizations in the community that do great work with sexual assault victims. We're missing the piece on sexual harassment in the workplace. And in 1981, Women's Resource Center created one of the first sexual harassment trainings for corporations in the country,
Really?
sending it out to New York and to
Will you guys be
DC.
going into companies then to provide that training, or is this specifically for people on essentially the other end?
So we thought about that, and we want to tailor it for the women.
Yeah.
We want to be specific to women to help them be equipped in the workplace. We're getting so many women that are dealing with this. Me and you have been on panels. We have dealt with this issue, and we have Stephen Drew Cooper and Andings. Their firm is going to be leading this.
That's a great law firm. Yeah.
Yes, it is, and their firm, Steve Drew and his team particularly, led the efforts with the Larry Nassar case. So he has a couple of his brilliant team members who worked specifically on that case who will be leading our training for our women.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So when does it kick off? Did you say fall?
That's going to kick off in the fall.
Okay.
So we're looking at
Okay.
October after Wine, Women, and Chocolate.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we've got to get through that. First, get the wine and the chocolate, and then we'll go to that.
It's a fundraiser.
It
Kim.
is. I mean, don't worry. I think I already bought a ticket. If I didn't, I just said that I did, so now I have to go.
Yes, she does.
So, we'll get into the board thing in a second, but I think this is so great that you guys are doing this because so many women don't know how to talk about it, don't know how to how to broach the subject, how to deal with it. I know in my career early on, I mean, it was the beginning of my career, and I was like, I can't say anything, you know, because that jeopardizes my job, and I'm dependent on that for, you know, living. So I think this is phenomenal, and to have Drew Cooper's Andy doing it is just
And just equipping women to, how do I approach?
Yeah.
There's still so many companies that do not have sexual harassment policies.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But we also provide technical training with Excel, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint workshops.
I could use
Google
that.
training. I know.
I literally
All
spent
of
2
us,
hours
right?
on PowerPoint last night, and I was like, I hate this program so much. But anyway, it's not about me, so.
Yeah. LinkedIn. So when we have phenomenal volunteers, we have a small staff. I say we're small but mighty, but we have just tremendous ambassadors who, we're going to talk about in the board training, who just are phenomenal to our work. We just could not do what we do without our board, our committee structures, and our volunteers.
Yeah.
They're all ambassadors for us. And so many people know us for our business boutique.
Yeah.
And it used to be called the Working Women's Clothing Closet. And when women are prepared for job interviews, they come in, meet with one of our volunteer consultants for an hour and a half, and they select 3 outfits: purse, shoes, makeup, jewelry.
Oh my gosh, how do I get involved with this? Like, I have so many things I can donate.
Brand new bras.
Yep.
We say women need support everywhere. And so, it's wonderful. So I can.
Yeah, please do.
You donate to us by just coming in
Okay.
the room.
Well, and since you mentioned wine, women, chocolate, did I get it? Did I get the right order? Yeah. I just always tend to put wine first. So, okay. So, when is that happening, and how can people get tickets?
They can go online at you don't have to say it anymore, but grwrc.org. That's Grand Rapids Women's Resource Center.org. And go up to our event link, or just from the tab from the front homepage. And if you want to bring your friends, you can buy 10 tickets, get 1 free. Whoop, whoop.
I don't have 11 friends. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's Thursday, October 4th, and it's
Yeah.
at Cascade Hills Country Club. We've sold out the past 2 years.
So get the tickets now.
So get your tickets.
Okay.
We sell out maybe 2 to 3 weeks ahead
Morgan,
of time.
did you hear that? We need to register for that. Got it. All right, we're on it. Perfect. So 11. We'll find somebody else to take. Okay, so now that we talked about all of that, we want to talk obviously about boards.
Yeah.
And so part of it is obviously it's great, I think, career development, but you have to be passionate about it. So let's first start out at looking at the career-wise. How did joining boards, and maybe what was one of your first boards, and how did that kind of help you within your career?
Wow, okay. Let me
First
think
board.
back.
I know I just aged you. You don't have to say first board, but
No, I mean, I'm just trying to think back. Because I was in my mid-20s when I joined my first board, and I believe it was New Branches Charter Academy.
yeah,
And kids are
Obvious.
always near and dear to
Yeah.
my heart, and women. And so when I joined that board, I was actually working at the bank, and because we were right in the neighborhood, I was managing the branch there, and that's how I was recruited to serve on that board. But right before, I don't know if I would have felt totally equipped to serve on that board if I did not go through United Way's blueprint training. It was train people of color how to be more engaged in board service, and it was 6 months to 12 months. I can't remember. Man, that's back in the day.
really. That's a good time commitment. But you've also told me there's another Association of Corporate Growth does
Yes.
board training as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And
And you
they-
encourage people to take that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's so important because you really do, when you join a board, you do need to know the commitment
Yeah.
level. You do need to know the structure. You need to know the protocols. And so you'll be a better board member. And even if you're not even ready for a board, you'll
Yeah.
be a better committee member
Yeah.
because sometimes I recommend starting at a committee
Right.
first.
Well, and sometimes that's just better too from, a time commitment. I mean, I know when I first started like getting involved, that's what I really joined was the committees. And a lot of times, again, the committees were kind of a feeder to the board,
Yes.
depending on how, like how involved you were with that committee and the organization as a whole. So,
Yes.
okay.
Because quite frankly, if they see that you're not committed to the committee structure, it's really no way
Right.
they'll ask you to join the board because the board is at a higher level of commitment.
So talk a little bit about the commitment to boards because there's the board meetings obviously, but it's not just that. There's work outside that. So how much commitment are we talking, and what's the kind of work that's expected of a board member?
And it depends on the board. So if you have a board that's more of a working board, you can pretty much expect a monthly meeting. And sometimes organizations that are smaller organizations like mine, we're not an operational working board.
Yeah.
So, but if you need that extra support, and there were times that we needed that extra support, and there's actually some larger boards, larger organizations that have working boards.
Yeah.
So, but just expect monthly meetings or bi-monthly meetings. You have to come prepared with reading the information that has been presented to you. Usually you have that information anywhere from 3 to 5 days. One of the boards I serve on, we get the information almost up to 2 weeks ahead of time. So we have plenty
Of time to
of
review.
time
There's
to
no
review it.
excuse.
Yes, no excuse. And when you're serving on a board, that does require your evenings
Yep.
and not your work time.
And people don't seem to realize that,
Yes.
Sometimes those board meetings are at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock
Yep.
at night.
Yep, some are at lunch, some are at 7 a.m. or 7:30 in the morning. But when you're preparing for them, I always just share with people, I don't use my work time necessarily to prepare for that. I'm preparing at nighttime during my own personal time or over the weekend as I'm reading through that information just so that I can really come prepared to the meeting.
To engage, because you're not just putting this on your resume and saying, "Great, it's on my resume. Now I don't have to do anything."
Yeah.
I think it's important to point out too. Like you just talked about an event that you have coming up. Board members are expected to engage not just within the board meetings, but like at events and fundraising. You maybe aren't necessarily going to go out and actively fundraise, but you are expected to support with your own dollars, and I think that's important. People have to understand there is a financial commitment there
Yes.
too.
9 times out of 10, your board will have an agreement, and that agreement would say attendance requirements. It will also have potentially giving at your own level, but a commitment to give to the organization, because if an organization does not have 100% giving, and the board does not support their own organization, then how do we expect donors in the community to support the organization if the board doesn't?
Well, because then it shows, and it reflects poorly on the organization.
Absolutely.
Because unfortunately, the board members aren't necessarily always held accountable for that, but the organization, it's like, well, what are you doing? Why are you not engaging them better? So,
And those are actually grant questions. Do your board give? And so what percentage of your board gives? And so the many donors want to know that. Another aspect of it, as you mentioned, is attending events. Sometimes you can't attend every event.
Yeah.
So there's some donors, or some board members, I should say, that may attend our Pillar Awards, or some attend our Wine Woman of Chocolate. You usually have almost everybody there.
right. I mean, everyone's like, okay, I'll come for that. Like,
But we also do, which I love, and I did this at my former organization. We do a annual thank you call to our donors.
oh, that's fantastic.
And our board participates in that. And that's in December. And we just call for our board to have an opportunity to say, we want to thank you for your commitment to the organization. And so just those opportunities. Now, keeping in mind, there are still committee structures on the boards that I serve on. One in particular, I chair one of the committees. I sit on the executive committee. So I have to be prepared for a number of things. And the only reason I was asked to sit on the executive committee because of my preparedness for the regular
Yeah, because a lot of times those board members are chairing committees.
Yeah.
So it's, again, you're talking about attending events, financial commitment, making those board meetings, which are often held in the evening, the prep for those board meetings, and then also chairing potentially a committee or sitting on a committee. So I think that's, if I can get one thing across, it's like, obviously you need to be passionate about the organization that you're involved with, but you also have to realize that you have to put your time in. So a couple other quick questions. When should people think about getting involved on a board? You talked a little bit about joining a committee first and kind of like getting, experience on that.
I would say if you're currently serving on a committee, I would, take the next step and begin to look at board service. But I would also, as you alluded to earlier, I would also go back if you have not had any formal board training.
Yes.
I say, man, if your company will invest in you, but also if you would invest in yourself, look at ACG. It's a wonderful opportunity for training. It's also a wonderful opportunity. They bring many nonprofits to you.
Yep.
So it's like a speed
Well,
dating.
and that's how I heard you speak. But
Yeah.
like you said, they do have that the speed dating. So if you're interested in becoming involved, whether it's committee or board, you can go to this event that they have and really get a feel for the different nonprofits that are out there.
Absolutely. And I did early in my career, and I regretted it. I do not join boards that I cannot say that I'm a complete ambassador for.
Yeah.
I just have to be. And if I'm on the board, I'm an ambassador for it. If you're a volunteer, you have to look up the definition for ambassador. If you can't say that's you, then don't join the board. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Because
You're wasting your time and their time.
Absolutely. And if you just want your name on the print, I mean, that's the wrong reason to do it.
Yeah, it's very wrong. Do not do that. So now that we've said that. And then, my next question was really going to be, how can people kind of get, involved, or what's like the first step? But you mentioned Association of Corporate Growth is a great one.
Yep.
Also, honestly, just call. Like, you could call, you could email. I mean, that's how the first board I ever sat on was the American Marketing Association. I first started out on a committee, but then I just, I literally just called and I was like, so, like, how do you get involved and stuff? Like, and they welcome that.
Calling them, but volunteering for them. And this is an opportunity for you to determine if this is something I could commit to. Do you really enjoy the mission? Do you enjoy the work? Do you enjoy working with the clients or participants or the animals that you might be working with? Just test it out from a volunteer standpoint. And there might be an opportunity where you say, well, at my level of my career, I want to look at just going straight to a board.
Yep.
Call the director, call the president, CEO there, and just try to get involved. And they will help you navigate the process, but understand that other people have also called them too.
So make your case. I mean,
so you're gonna have to make your case, but and they're gonna ask, what are you involved in now? Why do you want to become involved with our organization? And you really do need to be able to say, well, I volunteered, or I've done this, or I've participated in events. Go to the events.
Put skin in the game before.
You have to put skin in the game. You got to go to the events. You got to support these organizations so that you can have a compelling reason why you want to be a part.
And there is no shortage of nonprofits in our community, so there is literally no excuse. And I have always said that my network was built because of the engagement within the community and giving back. And whether that's attending these events or whether that's, being involved with some of the fundraising efforts or sitting on committees or whatever it is, or volunteering, that really that's been the reason I personally am so passionate about this community, is because, West Michigan is so philanthropic.
Yeah. And you know me, I'm going to talk to the women, and I'm going to talk to the people of color right now. Listen. You need to become involved. There's not enough women. And Kim and I serve on in forum, so we know with board service, with corporate work and leadership, there's not enough women at the table. So you need to show up and be at the table.
Yep.
So get engaged. Don't do like I did back in the day.
Yeah.
Turn
And
stuff down.
you are worth it. You are worth it.
Yeah.
Hear me now. If you hear nothing
Yeah.
out of this, that's the only thing you hear. You are worth it. You are prepared for this. You know, believe in yourself. Or, you know, if you need somebody to, like, you know, smack some sense into you, you can always reach out to myself or Sandra, and we'll do that for you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have to feel like you have to wait 5 and 10 years. I'm so excited to see these young boards that have been initiated, where kids who are trained at the young age of 16 to 18, and they're getting engaged early. So just think about if those young people can do it, you are able to do it and get engaged. And they're actually just more prepared for that next level of board service, but they got engaged first. And so just get engaged.
And it's never too late.
No.
Never too late.
No. And women at any age.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At any age.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so this is when we usually end with a rapid fire round. When I say usually, we do. So this one is Grand Rapids faves. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and you have to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Oh.
Okay, so ready? Are you
I'm
ready?
ready.
It's very exciting. Okay, what's your favorite Grand Rapids restaurant?
Okay. Oh, God.
You could say two if you.
Two.
Yeah.
Leo's.
Okay, love it.
The Cajun pasta chicken is the bomb.
And a seafood restaurant. You love the Cajun pasta chicken.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And oh my gosh, the restaurant, the little, 40 acres. Sorry.
40 acres. Got it.
Yes.
Oh, that's newer too, right? Okay,
Soul
40
food,
acres.
soul food,
So we got that.
wealthy.
All right, favorite GR happy hour.
This is not even hardly rapid fire for me.
Right, I know
City
you're
Built.
thinking too hard. City Built, perfect. Love
Yeah.
it. Love City Built. Favorite Grand Rapids neighborhood. So we got Creston, we got Easttown, we got obviously downtown, West Side.
Because I'm about to move to the west side, I'm about to say the west side, even though I
Yay.
grew up on the east side of Detroit.
Oh my goodness, yeah, West Side. Okay, favorite GR shopping spot.
Oh, boutiques.
Boutiques.
Gina's, Linen and Willow. Oh, those are my places
Yeah,
right
mine
there.
too. Mine too. Okay, this one's a weird one. Favorite parking garage, or what's a parking garage that you always end up going to?
Ellis.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Shout out to you, Mike.
Yeah. Mike, you got some endorsement there. Okay. Farmers market that you go to.
Fulton.
Fulton. Favorite patio or outdoor spot?
My new one is on top of
Mertens,
Hotel
Mertens?
Yes.
GR festival that you love or never miss. There's probably too many to
It's
narrow it
too
down.
many.
Festival of the Arts. I mean,
It's
there's obviously Art Prize.
the Festival of the Arts and Hispanic Festival.
Yeah,
my
awesome.
two favorite.
Okay, favorite. I already asked you this. Favorite patio. What's your favorite park in Grand Rapids?
So, I almost said Shane Park. That's in Detroit.
Well, now we know you like that one, so we're all gonna look it up.
The one by our office, the one right there by the river, across from City Built.
Just the Riverside Park. Riverside. No. Yeah.
No, 6th Street.
6th Street. Oh, 6th Street Park.
Sixth Street
Oh,
Park.
guys, that one is really good.
It
That one's
is.
really good. I mean, right now the construction's kind of a pain in the ass,
It
but
is.
you know, you should still go there. And it hooks up to the Riverwalk too.
Yes, it does. That's why
I'm
I
not
love
sure
it.
if that's flooded now. You might have to swim to walk it. Who's to say? All right, those are all of our GR questions. I just want to thank you so much for giving your time. You are so involved and you are so amazing. And like the Women's Resource Center in Grand Rapids are so lucky to have you. So
Thank you.
What's the website again for Women's Resource Center?
grwrc.org. Grand Rapids Women's
Wonderful.
Resource Center.
So
Thank
that
you
wraps up
so
our
much.
episode, everybody. Wine, Women, and Chocolate.
Yep, Thursday, October 3rd.
Got it.
Cascade Hills.
And we will include that too in the recap. But anyway, that wraps our episode. You've
Thank you
officially
for
been
having me.
hustled. So until next time, hustlers, we'll see you on the download.